Hey, my honeys, this is my attempt to answer your anonymous questions through the tarot, through my intuition in under 5 minutes. And today's submission comes from Mrs. Moonglow. And your question goes like this: how will my partners and I relationship handle being parents? Okay. So let's have a look at what the cards show. Okay, the first thing you want to know is the Empress card has come up for you, which is a really good start in terms of being a natural mum and adjusting to motherhood in terms of your relationship with your child in a really, really, really beautiful way. So congratulations and enjoy that. And, sometimes it can be a really tough adjustment. So just know what's going for you at the moment is definitely that you're going to have this beautiful natural affinity with your child and you're going to be really, really good mum. So congratulations, Mrs. Moonglow. I am getting, we've got the Five of Cups showing up, and that can be a sense of abandonment or a sense of feeling disconnected. I think it's normal during the beginning of any new little baby's life that our relationships tend to suffer. This is telling me that you might find that you and your partner feel a little bit disconnected. You're certainly not going to feel disconnected from the baby, but there may be some sense of needing to really focus on date nights and focus on bringing yourself back together. Probably sans child. So if someone can have baby for a little bit and you can reconnect, that's really important. It is going to be a lonely time for you for sure. It is an inward spiritual building time. So both of you will go through growth. I do see it strengthening your relationship, but I do think it's going to be the first 6 months. What I'm getting from my guides is that it's going to be pretty trying, but you're determined to do it and you will do a fabulous job of it. There's some stuff coming up on the side, which is to do with mental health and trusting your intuition and working through mental health issues, which I actually feel is on both sides of the coin. And your partner's mental health is coming up for me. I just feel this is, like many men, something that he's not necessarily dealt with. I'm assuming it's he, but something that they've not necessarily dealt with. So I want to encourage you to, before this child is born, make assumptions that the two of you are going to feel a bit tested and your emotional health stuff is going to come up and both of you will need to resource that, whatever it may be. There is a fabulous book called Brain Rules for Baby by Dr. John Medina that talks about really important research that says, the quality of a relationship absolutely goes down after a child is born. Unfortunately, it's significantly shown in the relationship that this will happen. And this is because pressure increases. And the two areas that you're going to fight about mostly for most couples, and this is research-based, is your finances and your chores. So if you can start off, that's what my husband and I did when we adjusted to having twins. If you can start off with an understanding that, we are going to be up against it. Our communication pathways aren't going to be there. And you can start preparing for that level of stress. I think that it will make it more achievable. We are seeing the Chariot, which is good because this is action orientated, going towards our goal, going on a journey, heading in a new direction, which is really, really lovely. But I do feel that these cards for me are talking to, perhaps your partner's mental health stuff being triggered, and maybe you need to look at your emotional supports in the first 6 months. But past that first 6 months, I feel it's actually quite balanced and level. But the first 6 months for me are the ones that you really will need extra support around you and extra help. Yeah, at the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Wands reversed. So that can be about boundaries for me. And that can be about saying no to the things that don't work for you. I'd be very clear with this man about what you have to give, because I feel there may be some emotional maturing need to happen. All men adjust to the needs of having a baby differently, but for men it's often a different adjustment because we've got this very primal, constant contact with the babe, and we understand in a real world way and this goes for any partner that's not the primary caregiver, I would say that you've got a real understanding of how life has changed. You've also had the whole pregnancy to feel that sense of how life has changed. And they sometimes end up doing that afterwards. So I do feel there's an inner maturity and a growing needed from your partner. And I am getting that about 3 to 4 months after birth, that there may be some arguments around that sense of perhaps you abandoning him or not, or them, or not being there for them. And I think it needs to be, boundaries may need to be set around that in terms of, I'm sorry you feel that way. How can we resource ourselves to, spend more time in together? My husband and I have a pattern of we every fortnight, and we're so fortunate having my mum take my little twinnies, but from about 6 months old, every fortnight she would stay with them and look after them. They would actually stay at her place, and they loved that because they love their nanny, and we would have a date night every fortnight on a Sunday. So that's helped us get through the really difficult times of that first couple of years of life of twins and remain connected, because there were some very, very tense, emotionally draining times to get through. And to be honest, there was a lot of that first 2 years I had very little to give him because it was all going to my children. And he understood that, but it is a bit of a compromise. So I wish you all the best, Mrs. Moonglow. Let me know if that spoke to you. And many blessings for your beautiful bundle of joys arrival.